Monitoring is underway. They're engaged in surveillance in the laundry room, and this is a demon that knows what I'm doing. So the creation of noise by slamming down a machine with simultaneity to
Erica,
my movement.
I am so sorry.
He's on mute, but he knows what I'm saying. Done. Oh. Okay, no problem, done. I'll be here. Bye. He knows what I'm saying, even though I have him on mute. You're dealing with an entity, okay? And you have witnessed the evidence of the demonic. So the reality is that he's got me on hold. He's monitoring while he's talking to somebody else. He's monitoring me, okay? We're on the phone together. Demons engage in what are literally self-destructive acts of retaliation. He knows exactly what I just captured on video at 9:30 in the morning. He knows that I was referencing him. And literally while I was reviewing that video, he calls in order to, train me on something. This is federal stock. You're understanding what is the surface explanation for what are elements of monitoring. This is how demons operate, and it's also notably how a corrupt government operates. Corruption by a government is going to have such layers. You necessarily engage in going beneath the veil, beneath the surface. That's how a government is going to engage. And this is unfortunate, but criminal activity by a government that knows what's supposed to occur. They also are assuming legitimacy. They are given unjustly. California shall never be given that false presumption of legitimacy again based on this criminal system. But the government is given it's presumed to be legitimate. So when the government says, oh, this person is guilty by decree of a judge in a certain courtroom in a certain case, it's determined already to be legitimate. Nobody's questioning that because that's the judge. All right. This is after dissecting through the facts and circumstances. It's been subject to litigation. We've perused through all the facts. All right. This is what no. That's not the case. We're under facts of federal group stalking and monitoring. So anyway, just to say, he's monitoring. He had me on hold. He is Don Noggle. The entity did engage in what is amplifying plane activity and or helicopter activity. It's amplification nonetheless. But yes, I have assigned what is legal relevance. The entity wants to amplify. That's terrorism. Amplification is terrorism. They're targeting you with audible activity. The entity wants to amplify it by helicopter activity. That's the entity posing the highest threat through the demon-possessed law enforcement agencies. Okay, so what the entity will do is then amplify plane activity, or they'll amplify the demons driving on Alvarado Street, or a demon will amplify music. It's still terrorism, but I have, where the entity is group stalking with LAPD or any police from any law enforcement agency where they want to target you through the means of some sort of function of law enforcement who's stalking you in helicopters, stalking you in vehicles, sounding their sirens, etc. That is posing a high threat to your life. Even though, let me be clear, federal group stalking and monitoring is posing a high threat to your life, okay? But you're just analyzing the criminal conduct, all the methods of the demon possessed, okay? You got psychopaths that listen to me create rules about what they're doing, then they'll engage in doing the same thing, trying to do it in some other variation. You're not going to be in any way distracted by that, and nobody is confused by that either, okay? But nonetheless, I want to document that the light source is outside of my office. This is a communication device, and this is an entity that I'm on the phone with. This is not Don Noggle acting as an individual for a company exercising any constitutional rights. He represents the entity. This is a third-party company. He's a third-party group stalker, engaging in what is systematic facilitation as well on behalf of the state. I'm at the facilitating venue. All manner of the P.O.C. is underway, and it's not a coincidence also while I document that. Let me be clear. He's on mute. That demon knows exactly what I'm saying. He knows what video I captured today. He knows I was referencing him in that video. You're dealing with an entity. This is what I mean by Mary Jane and Joe. Okay, first of all, Mary Jane and Joe are demon possessed. So there's that. Then so that's speaking to what is knowledge that they share corporately, even when they're outside of your presence. In addition to that, Mary Jane and Joe are a group. Mary Jane and Joe share knowledge together, okay? You're not just dealing with Mary Jane. No, Mary Jane is both Mary Jane and Joe. Mary Jane are hand in hand, okay? They're two birds of a feather, okay? So understand that that's how you're prosecuting the ongoing criminal system. Anyway, I just wanted to document it's 10:06 a.m. and that's the maintenance of the light source outside of my leasing office. So while you're remembering what I documented, what the pattern of conduct as I was subject to it in an entirely different region, nowhere near Alvarado Gardens, the property of Alvarado Gardens, where the sun is now rising and setting. This is excellent for you to look at right now, because this is where the entity is rising and setting the sun. Okay, this is my apartment right here, 1806. The sun is rising through this section of the property, facing this section, through my living room window, through my bedroom window on this side of the same. I'm in the same apartment. Through this side. I'm not laughing because it's funny. I'm laughing because this is literally what is going on, and It is not rocket science, but it is a massive prosecution because it's a government and it's the people. Every single last person everywhere that you're going, and that's why it's speaking to what's demonic activity. But nonetheless, you have what is through the opposite side of the same apartment. This is where the sunset is. Remember, this is building 1818, where I'm facing my bedroom window in the evening. Okay, and the entity has a light source that I'm looking at through the window of the same apartment. This is what the entity is doing: the sunrise, the sunset. Yeah, that's the pattern of conduct at one address. None of that is coexisting with what I documented when I was in an entirely different region. That is Ontario, California. Okay, even while I'm sleeping outside, and that is speaking to what has nothing to do with your socioeconomic status. The demon possessed, the entity will want to make you seem insignificant. Yeah, right, you're paranoid, you're crazy, you're psychotic. I'm referencing the harassment by an entity that is omnitrans. That third party's going to federal prison. She's a whole demon, a psychopath, and a sex offender who's hostile while she's stalking me, stalking somebody who, yes, did not have a place to live. But guess what? That's at the hands of the criminal conduct of the state. The same entity, the people of the state are your employer, harassing you on the job, unlawfully releasing you when you report it. Nonetheless, you have what is that entity that will reference your socioeconomic status as it's legally irrelevant what your socioeconomic status is while you're subject to the pattern of conduct. Okay, I want to be clear. It's currently 10:08 a.m. This is P.O.C. Is this Don Noggle? This is Speaker Companies, and he is indeed monitoring P.O.C.